This is the next episode in my trip to Los Angeles trying to find the best aquarium content possible. We have already posted 3 videos from the trip, and this is the last one.
It's been an awesome trip so far where we saw a great fish store and awesome cichlid breeders, fish houses. We saw Mark Chin, TMK Aquarius business and his home aquarium. And now we are headed to, like I said, the grand finale. Really what I planned this whole trip around originally was seeing this fish room because I had seen it on social media. It looked incredible and I knew I had to film it and just show it off to the world. So let's go check it out. I couldn't be more excited.
Okay guys, we are here. I am so excited to show off this big display tank, the most immaculate fish room I think I've ever seen, and another tank that's in his living room. And Stan did not want to be on camera, but he's going to be behind the scenes talking through each of these tanks. And I cannot wait to just hear from him all about these tanks, starting with this one. So let's go. Okay, so Stan, tell us about this incredible display tank. How big is it and what's in it?
Well, thank you. Thank you for calling it incredible. I appreciate that. It is 570 gallons, and it's got a 200-gallon sump, so a total of 770 gallons. I can't remember the exact dimensions of it, but it's a Southeast Asian biotope, obviously. It's got about 65 tiger barbs in there.
Love it.
I feel like they added the color and the movement that is so crucial to a tank. What I really try to achieve with this aquarium is to have different sized fish, because all of us aquarists know how difficult it is to put large fish with small fish, because what do small fish or what do large fish eat, right?
Yep.
So I just love the size variance. So I've got like 33-inch fire eels in here with 1.5 to 2-inch tiger barbs. Not too many tanks have that kind of combination, so that's what I enjoyed. I've got 4 large fire eels in there.
They're huge too.
I'm the admin to the Ultimate Mass Assemblist and Moray group on Facebook.
Yeah,
so,
and I'll leave links down in the description.
Okay, that'd be great. I appreciate it. Now, this fire eel right here is the one I'm particularly proud of because I think it's the most beautiful one on the planet, or at least in the top 10. It's just really light pattern, very light colored, and it's got a lot of pattern, and it's just pretty magnificent compared to your average fire eel.
Absolutely, and even the ones over there are huge, and they look great too.
Yeah, well, that's a pair right there. Those 2 large ones in the corner. The one on top is the female. You'll notice that she has a smaller snout and face, and the male is down below. He's got brighter colors. You can't really tell from here, but he also has a kind of almost like a nuchal hump and a larger snout. It's a broader mouth and just more imposing looking, I suppose.
Yeah.
There's other eels in there. There's 5 clown loaches. There's rohani barbs and filamentosa barbs, both.
And denizen barbs as well, right?
Oh yeah, how can I
love
forget?
those
Yeah,
guys.
absolutely. I would love to get more large ones of those. And then there's some monster barbs in there.
Yeah, what are those?
Those are called Puntioplites bulu, and they're from Thailand. And those are gigantic. They're about 18 inches long. But I thought, how cool would it be to have a combination of, and once again, the tiny fish with the large fish? Because you see a lot of tanks, and I mean, you might see like discus with tetras. That's about as extreme as you're going to get. This is kind of like takes it to another level, I think.
Absolutely. And you said this is all kind of like Southeast Asia biotope theme. Did you have a name for this tank?
Oh yeah, it's Fire Valley.
Very appropriate.
Named after the fire eels. This tank used to be the ex-Geo Valley, which got pretty famous on Instagram with Ultimate Dreamfish. It was all South American cichlids. But I had since changed it, and because the fire eels are the main draw to the tank, it's now called Fire Valley.
Yeah, I think I saw some of the South American setup before with like the geos, and I love that.
Thanks.
And then when you switched it over, I found myself just loving this just as much or more.
Well, I kind of panicked because you're the cichlid bros, and then you come over and you want to film, a tank without cichlids in it.
Yeah.
So,
man, I love it nonetheless. Like, these guys are super active. Like you said, the size differences are great, the activity, and just the overall decor, driftwood, everything.
Oh, I had to carry that down from 3 miles.
Wow.
By myself. It was like gnarly. Getting that piece of that stump down was just insane how heavy it was. But I was determined to get down because I wanted to achieve that look. I have Kessel spotlights on here,
Okay.
which I wanted to, and there's also Hygger lights in front. The Hygger lights, in my opinion, are great color enhancing lights. They really bring out the reds and the oranges. The Kessel lights create the shimmer and also the shadowing.
Yep.
But as far as color enhancing, I don't think they're the best.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I have the combination. Yeah.
Yeah. And how deep is it front to back roughly?
I believe it's 36 inches.
Yeah.
And one other thing I want to mention is I kind of selected fish that would use up the entire tank, the height of the tank. Because obviously the eels mostly stay on the bottom. But right now I don't know why they're not doing it. But the filamentous barbs and stuff are usually up on top. The tiger barbs just everywhere.
Yep. And I don't know if we talked about the gourami. Is that a...
Oh yeah, that gourami is... it's actually a really rare hybrid gourami. In the trade, it's called the giant Siamese ruby gourami.
Gotcha.
And it is a Ostremus hybrid, I believe, between Latoclabius and Septum fasciatum. But it should, hopefully, with some luck, turn solid maroon colored as it gets large. And for those that aren't familiar with that species, they get gigantic. I mean, it'll probably outgrow this tank. I mean, it'll probably get about 2 feet long. I'm sure you've seen them before.
Well, the tank itself and everything in it is incredible, but I don't know if the camera will do it justice. The room it's in is immaculate. Like the decor in this room, and just I would stay in here as long as possible, and just relax.
It's my zen place to go, Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
I want to create a space where you feel like you kind of get away from the modern world, the rest of the world. It's very old school, very classic, and that is the aesthetics I appreciate, and that's what I try to create. So thank you.
Absolutely. And along those same lines, you have another tank in your house, and then you have the fish room. And I'm not lying when I say that fish room looks immaculate. One of the best, cleanest looking fish rooms, so I'm really excited to tour that next.
I'll have to give you $25 for saying that. Thank you.
Do you want to go check that out?
Yeah, sure.
Right.
You want to get that gourami is actually showing some red. That gourami can change colors on a dime. I mean, sometimes it's gray, sometimes it's red. Right now it's looking pretty red, so it's just a little hint of things to come.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks beautiful.
There's a couple eels that you might want to get in here real quick. That's the bicolored one is not a thalamus. Matus is not a thalamus. The one with it's got a very unique pattern of having dark on top and light on the bottom. This is very unusual. Oh, they're coming out to say hi. The big female fire eel and the top 10 beautiful fire eel.
Yeah, that is insane.
Yeah, that one is pretty amazing. That one in the very corner on the bottom is, I have 3 of those in here, Massasemblis albugutatus, and they're the starlight eel. I've actually collected that fish in Myanmar before, and they're one of my favorite eels. They're just really beautiful and covered with yellow dots, so
yeah.
I wanted to show you guys that. And there's a couple others I wish you can see, but they're hiding right now, but
Yeah.
But sure, I'll be happy to continue the tour.
Boom. Okay, Stan, so this is your one inside your home?
Yes, this is my show tank in the living room. Originally I had these giant eels and stuff in here, and a friend came over and said, I don't really dig these fish. It's not the kind of fish I keep. They remind me of snakes. So I decided to go with just, very colorful, inoffensive fish. It's a planted tank. I usually don't do planted tanks. For some reason, these plants decide to live. And the inhabitants in there are the Odessa barb, which are one of the species that can be found in Myanmar, which is surprising because for many, many years, no one really knew where they came from. They were rumored to come from a street market in Russia. And it wasn't until maybe about 5 or 6 years ago that it was confirmed that they came from central Myanmar. So it's kind of cool that it actually exists, such a beautiful fish. They're really beautiful.
That is really interesting.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
And the other fish that right now in here are the gold roseline sharks.
Mm-hmm.
I generally don't care for synthetic looking fish, but because these guys are extremely bright, they're not even full grown yet, but they're really bright. I have a friend that calls them mini koi because sometimes they get like kind of like piebald black blotchy, patterns and stuff. And so, it's just a very colorful fish that stands out.
Definitely, and especially with the backdrop of all these beautiful plants with like zero algae at all.
It's a miracle, trust me.
It's a lot.
And also there is a trio of black ruby barbs, which has always been one of my favorite species. The male's the one with the bright red head and the darker body, and then there's the two that don't have a lot of color in there are the females. And all these tanks are new. I'd have more fish in here. I just have not had an opportunity.
Yeah. Well, a lot of activity for even the amount you have in there now.
Hey, it's a great feeling to have space to buy more fish.
Absolutely. And how big is this tank again?
This tank is a custom tank. I believe it's probably about 170 gallons.
Awesome. And again, similar to the display tank in the other room, the exterior of the tank is next level. Like the custom cabinetry and the canopy just looks amazing. It's a huge focal point of your house. I love it.
Thank you. I really want to tie it in with the house. I mean, everything I wanted to have a theme and to flow in the house. So thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
And your average non-fish person is going to come over and they're going to enjoy it too. They're not going to think anything scary in there or whatever. So
yeah. Awesome. I love it. Well, thanks for giving an overview of this tank. Next, do you want to go to the fish room?
Sure.
Boom.
Follow me this way.
All right, so I'm really excited to show off this immaculate fish room. We can start with the big tank. You have a lot of awesome looking tanks and beautiful species on the side over here as well. But first, do you want to tell me about these guys in the bigger tank?
Sure. They are called Labiobarbus malagarisi. They go by a number of common names. Rainbow Masir, Tanzanian rainbow, crimson sky barb, and probably other names I can't remember right now. But there's 3 males and 2 females in there. The males are the ones that are darker with taller fins, and they're absolutely voracious fish. I mean, they are, basically, I'll throw food in there and run because I don't want to get drenched, and they just explode. They're great. Keeping one, they're much more gentle. You put 5 of them together, and there's just like a pack of, wild dogs or something. And the other fish in there is another Massosumblis nodophthalmus. It's they call him the black pearly eel, and I think he thinks he's a Masir because he kind of schools with them the entire time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that eel is awesome. So is there a reason he's in here compared to the display tank, or you just wanted to mix?
A lot of these Massosumblis are very sensitive fish, and if you move them, a fish that's doing well, eating well, will stop and never adapt again. So even though it's not geographically correct, and it really bothers me, because I like to keep all my fish geographically correct, somewhat geographically correct, I figure for his sake, for his well-being, he goes in with the African fish.
Yeah. And how big is this tank again?
I believe it's about 220.
Yeah. And so you built it into the wall here, which again has really great exterior work.
Yeah, thanks. It's PVC panels, and it just gives a great look. I mean, I've seen other people do it with white, wave pattern PVC panels or blue. Mm-hmm. And I just wanted something different.
And the yellow background's also pretty different.
Yeah, I just wanted something different. I wanted a room that was masculine, modern, clean. Those are the things I wanted to achieve with it. So
you definitely accomplished that. Do you want to go to some of these tanks on the side next?
Sure.
So do you want to start with the big guy up there?
Sure.
Big orange eel. I'm not even going to pretend to know the name.
Those are 2 monopterous swamp eels, xanthic ones. It's 2 of them, and I believe that when they get larger, they turn into males. So I believe it's 2 males in there. They really don't fight. It's one of those fish that I'm actually a little scared of because have extremely powerful jaws.
Wow.
And I've actually been bit by one, and it was not a pleasant experience. Got infected. They have rasping teeth, and they do the alligator death roll when they bite. So that guy, it's all muscles. His whole head is muscles. So it's definitely a fish to be respected.
What continent is he from?
He's from Asia,
Okay.
Southeast Asia.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
I feed him night crawlers and chunks of shrimp. The big guy can have 4 3-inch shrimp at one sitting daily.
Wow. So with that, I mean, we can just ask for this whole system.
Sure.
Do you have to do a lot of water changes, or how's the
I
maintenance?
don't. They're all on an automatic water change. All my tanks are. So there's each. This is a row of. The 3 tanks here are one system, so there's 4 systems here. The large tank and then the 3 rows. The water is filtered and it drops in on the top and it drains out on the bottom tank.
Man.
Because I'm too lazy to do water changes.
So with that water change system, your quality is always pristine and you're not always taking a big python out here all the time?
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, I leave the lights on in the fish room only when I view them. So tanks stay very clean. There's hardly any live plants in here. Because in general, I like big, oddball fish. And generally speaking, they don't really get along with plants that well. So I just not worried about it.
For sure. And we showed the previous tank where you did have plants, so when you do have species that can go with them, you do that. But to your point, a lot of these guys would make a quick snack out of some of those.
Oh yeah, tear it apart, so for sure.
So what's this guy next to the eels?
Those are some new fish. Their common name is spangled gudgeons. I cannot remember. That's the female. The male's down low, coming out from the right underneath the wood. Can't remember their scientific name, but I've noticed that they're extremely aggressive. I love the snakehead gudgeons, all the large gudgeons. I have a bunch of them in this room, but they are by far the most aggressive ones. Their fins are torn, but they're very cool looking. It looks like a seal cat or something.
And what continent are those from?
Those are from Indonesia, Australia, that area.
So would you say the majority of the fish room is Southeast Asia?
Yes, I'm currently
moment.
going through a trend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I mean, if you would have come 2 years ago, it would have been all South Americans. So,
Yeah.
When you've kept all the fish like I have, you just cycle through.
Absolutely. Well, these are a ton of species that, like I've said, I'm new to. Maybe it's the first time I've seen a lot of these. So it's always cool to see.
Thank you for saying that. That's my intention. I really wanted people to come over and see fish that they have not seen before.
Yeah.
I think that'd be
Speaking of
exciting.
that, so you want to go to the bottom tank here?
Okay.
Those 2 below.
Uh-huh. Longipinus is their second part. Their species name is Longipinus. I'm going to have to...
Yeah.
I cannot remember right now. It's a barb from China.
Okay.
And they're super colorful. They kind of look like a Discochotis from Africa, sort of. But they have a very mild personality.
Yeah. A lot of the Discochotis can be the opposite of that, where they're like fin nipping everything.
And stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. And then next to them you have a school of other bugs.
They're really shy. Those are Dawkinsia temperpari. They used to be called the Aurelius barb. In the trade, Aurelius barb is a different species.
Yep. And then down below, I see are those smaller eels there?
Those are actually golden dojos.
Wow.
Those are Misgurnus dabrianus, and they're from China as well. Some people liken them to like rotten bananas because they really do. They're yellow with brown dots on them to varying degrees. I mean, some are heavily speckled, some aren't. They get real big though. They're just great fish. I love those. They're one of my favorite fish. Always in my fish room, I'll always have some swimming around because they're great. They're hardy. They're comedic. They're,
they have really interesting swimming behaviors.
Acrobats, and they're just really cool.
Love it.
And they're from China.
And then next to them.
Okay, those look very unimpressive right now. They're baby Tor sinensis, which is the red tor, which will get huge scales and orange red. And then the other one is Neolithichylis baoshinensis, and that's a blue Messier from China.
Wow.
And they both should color up quite nice.
All right, and then going over to the second row of tanks here.
Okay, those
Bottom
the bottom those black and white catfish are Synodontis granulosus. They're captive bred ones. There's 3 of them in there, and they're just very striking fish. One of those fish that I've always enjoyed having in my fish room. I probably always will. And then there's 3 Tanganyikan eels in there as well. Massocymbus ellipsifer, Massocymbus morai, Massocymbus albo maculatus.
Man.
Oh, and then Plagiostoma also. 4, sorry.
Man, you are great with those scientific names. Those are long
Well,
names.
if I'm pronouncing it correctly, it'd be a miracle, but...
And then up here we have some pretty big eels as well.
Those are my favorite eels. Those are Macrognathus chris. They're shaped after a Malaysian knife, like a kris, like a dagger. Their common name is Borneo pythons, and they're very tame. They look imposing, but they're super peaceful. Very personable, and they eat right out of my hand. Very fat, just great. It's a trio in there. The females are more orange and the males darker without orange on it.
Man, I like the color pattern on the tops there.
Yeah.
Really cool.
It's very unusual. And the fact that they're so wide, right? Like they have a really wide back. They're really bulky, stocky looking fish. But like I said, they're very peaceful. They look aggressive, but they're not.
Yep. And then this guy, one that I actually knew. So this is a cross river puffer?
Absolutely. That's Bilbo right there. Yeah, he's a juvenile still. I feed him any kind of snails I find in my plant tank. They go right in there. Keep his teeth filed down. He eats earthworms, shrimp, and he's real personable. I did try putting some Congo tetras in there, hoping that he would not eat them because they're too quick, but I'd originally put 5 in, and when they dwindle down to 3, I removed them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when you said he's a juvenile, he still has room to grow?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, their top size is huge. I want to say 16 inches at least.
So would you say they get as big as like a blue puffer? Or?
Not quite that
Okay.
big, because that is truly the largest puffer there is, but good size for sure.
Yeah.
And the red spots become more prominent as they grow, and the yellow coloration.
Yeah.
It's just a personal and really beautiful fish, I think.
Definitely. I love the tail, and then the eyes are...
The metallic green eyes and the red dots. I mean, it's a built-in pet fish, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Thanks.
So then above him, we got a couple active gudgeons.
Gudgeons,
All
very
right,
good.
so I'm learning.
Yeah. So those are Gyrus. My gosh. I'll have to think of it. It's a new gudgeon species that has only been imported once, about 4 months ago. So very few people have them. It's a pair. As you can see, they are fairly peaceful, which is rare for a gudgeon, especially when you have 2 together. Usually the male is just going to beat up on the female. But this is a pair. The male's got the more orange coloration, the longer fins.
And you said it's a pair. If these guys would breed, would you try to get them out of the hobby, or is that something you're trying to do?
Not me personally. I mean, I'm not really into breeding fish. I mean, if they breed, great, but I'm not really into it. I like to document them, get photos of them, feature them on my Instagram, and sort of move on, unless I really like that fish. Those I really like. I'll probably end up keeping them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're beautiful.
Thanks.
And so next to them, is this an albino type, or?
It should be a xanthic climbing perch.
Okay.
A golden one. I mean, I've seen golder ones, but that's another pet fish. It's very old. My good friend Wes gave it to me, and I just keep it as a pet. Pet gift fish, I don't get rid of.
Yeah, and love how personable and easygoing he seems.
If you look at him, he's a unit. I mean, he's a tank. He's got spines on his gills. He's armored, really armored head. bulletproof fish. And it's a climbing perch. I mean, they can crawl on land from puddle to puddle, and that's what really makes them unique. That's what makes them famous, is that when the rice paddies in Asia or the ponds that they're from start drying up, they can migrate to a different water source to stay alive.
Man, that's super interesting.
Yeah.
Do you have to have a firm lid or?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
All my tanks have, with the larger fish, are all weighted down somehow.
Would the eels try to get out too?
Oh yes, they would.
Yeah.
I've done a few rookie moves where I did find some, unfortunately, dried eels on the ground. Yeah.
Man, these guys are cool. So the last racking system here, what do you have in the top left?
Okay, those are more gudgeons. I've got 5 gudgeons in there. Gyrus viator. They're called rainbow gudgeons, and they are extremely colorful, slightly aggressive towards each other. But aside from that, just a super bulletproof fish. And sharing the tank with them are 3 gymnothorax polyuranodon, the tiger morays, the freshwater morays, and those are a true true freshwater species. There was an argument for many years if there's brackish water fish or marine fish. I mean, I'm sure you could find them in those habitats, but they do just fine in pure freshwater.
Definitely. And so the moray eel is one that's become a little more popular lately.
Yeah, they've become very popular.
They have some really good like yellows and color patterns to them.
Yeah, they vary a lot, and they've really caught fire in the hobby, and they're really popular.
Awesome. All right, and down below.
Okay, those are some juvenile drape fin barbs. They're from India, and they're one of the fish I had many years ago. They grow about 3 times larger, and the males will display. They're just spectacular fish. They're still a little young right now, so they're just okay looking, but good things are to come.
Yeah, I really like the unique dorsal fin to them.
Mm-hmm.
And then over in the tank on the left, you have more of them there?
Well, those are actually escapees from the other tank. They were small, and they fit through the divider. But, they kind of bring the other fish out, hopefully. They're dither fish, where if you have fish that hang out in the upper or middle water column, it brings cichlids, loaches, any kind of bottom dweller generally come out, or more willing to come out with fish. They watch the fish that are in the mid water column or upper water column, and if they are acting normal and acting secure, generally it brings the other fish out.
Mm-hmm. And like we said, there's some really unique loaches in here, and we'll drop in some food and get B-roll of them if they come out.
Okay.
But can you explain a little bit about them?
They're just oddball. We have a legion of fans that like oddball striped clown loaches. Clown loaches are one of the mainstays of the hobby. For good reason. They're colorful, they're hardy, they're fun to watch. But to find oddball striped ones is a great, it's a treasure hunt. People like to go to their local fish store and find one with a cool spot or stripe and add to it. And also in there are some red panda barbs or melon barbs. I thought it'd make it unique tank inhabitant with the clown loaches, since they kind of look the same, kind of amusing looking fish.
Yeah. Really cool species in there. And then down to the very last rack here, we couldn't get through a fish room tour without a cichlid. So I see you do have one South American cichlid.
Yes, that's a female Santa Isabel angel. They're from the Simon Forkel from Europe line. I unfortunately had a problem with that tank, and I lost the other ones, but that's my sole remaining cichlid that I have right now.
Well, this just shows that there's so many unique, rare, cool species that you can keep, even if you're keeping something other than cichlids. And, I'm sure I'll be keeping a lot of these just after seeing the tanks you have and the inspiration of it. I think I'll definitely have some more oddballs in the future.
That's great to hear, Troy.
All right, Stan, well, thank you so much for showing these immaculate tank setups, not only the display tanks, but this fish room was so unique and so cool. I know I've said it probably a million times, but it is like the most clean, immaculate setups I've seen. So all of their social media will be down in the description below, your Instagram and your Facebook groups. But thanks so much for having us. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. So my trip to Los Angeles has come to an end, and it was such a great trip. Thanks again to CK Fish World for having me, John Niemans for sharing so much knowledge about breeding cichlids, Mark Chen for showing off his awesome display tanks, and of course Stan for showing off his immaculate display tanks and his fish room. It was so cool to see. Until the next one, we'll see you later.